What's up, gamers? Do you want to get nasty at Halo? Oh, I'm going to tell you how to get nasty at Halo. Alright, what's up guys, it's Reclaimer and welcome back to another Halo 5 tips video. So today we're going back to the analysis real quick because I tried, if you guys didn't see the other two videos, there's two other Getting Better at Halo 5 episodes up on my channel that I already did. The first one was an analysis one just like this one, and the second one was just sort of kind of a quick tips video where I went into a custom game and showed you guys some things that are important to keep in mind. But today we're going back to the analysis because I think this was generally the better received one. I think people were you guys were more able to get a picture of what I was talking about, and a lot of people said that they preferred the real in-game examples as opposed to just me in a custom game talking about stuff. So today we're back doing that. Today we're going to be looking at an Eden oddball game. We're going to be talking about a couple things in particular. Today we're going to be talking about teammates, because obviously this series is mainly meant for if you're solo queuing. You can use this if you're playing with a team, but I've got some tips that are in there, especially for those of you that like to solo queue, because I play pretty much all of my games solo queue. So we're going to be talking about teammates and how to understand where to push and when to hold off, as well as grenades, because there are a lot of people that still don't know how to use their nades, because it is somewhat of a thing that sort of flies under the radar. It's a pretty important aspect of your gameplay, but it does fly kind of under the radar. It's something you don't hear people talk about all the time. We're going to be talking about when to use your nades, when to save your nades, and how to use your nades more effectively, because nades are, as I said, a very important aspect of your gameplay. Everybody always spawns with 2 frag grenades, and there are always tons of other grenades scattered across the map. So grenades are a very important aspect of your gameplay. So we're going to go ahead and get this game started. So like I said, this is an Eden oddball game. This is actually a really, really sweaty competitive game that I just played in the HCS playlist. So there are some pretty good examples of what we're going to be talking about in this video. So a couple of the important things to remember. Obviously there's sniper on this map, there's overshield on this map. Those are the two things that you need to keep in mind, as well as a plasma pistol in the tower. And the plasma pistol is super, super important. I know a lot of people already know this, but the plasma pistol is incredibly important, because not only can you supercharge it and drop shields really quickly, but it is the counter to the overshield, because obviously that overshield gives you, I think, 2 or 3 times your shield health. So remember the plasma pistol, and there are a couple examples in this game where you'll see I try to prioritize that to counter the overshield, because in this game we actually don't get the overshield. I don't know if we got the overshield at all in this game. So especially if you're solo queuing, especially if you don't have communication with your teammates, and there's no guarantee that you're going to get that overshield. Remember, death cams are very important, so keep an eye. Whenever those power-ups start to come up, keep an eye on your teammates and make sure you know where they are, and know how to make a play around that, so that if you're not going to get it, you know what to do and where to counter it. So really quickly, just to back this up again, you'll see what a lot of people will do off the start of this. We're spawning blue side, so we spawn blue plat. What you'll see a lot of people do is whenever they spawn, everybody immediately throws 2 grenades. Like over here, everybody immediately throws 2 grenades from to red nest or red plat or something. Everybody's just throwing their grenades across the map. So really quickly, something that I just want to let you guys know is a really smart thing to do in any part of any game, but especially in the beginning, is save your grenades. Obviously there's good nades that you use off the break. Like, it's never a bad play, for instance, off the breakout in Coliseum, to nade the silvers or the mazes or the Gandhis. Like, it's never a bad play to nade those, but it's generally a good idea, especially if you don't know where people are, to save your grenades. So just remember that. So I make a play right here to go for the sniper off the rip, and I do blow up the barrels because obviously you don't want to get barreled. And so right here, I see that we're outnumbered at the overshield. So essentially right here, I'm going to try to stay alive, because you don't want to give up an easy death to the overshield guy. So I'm just trying to put some shots down, trying to stay alive, keep the sniper out of the enemy team's hands, as well as not give up an average death to the overshield guy. So I'm watching my angles, end up picking up a nice headshot on the guy who's pushing my door, because that was just another very important thing to keep in mind, because I don't think a lot of people really do this all the time. But predicting where your enemies are going to go is a super important part of gunplay in this game. So, like right here, I get challenged from the outside, and for instance, I know that he's going to go blue door, so I pre-aim blue door, and then he shows up, and I'm able to get a good kill, right? So pre-aiming and trying to predict where your enemies are going to go is very important. So right there, I ended up dying. I thrusted right at the guy, which I think on paper probably looks like not that great of a play. But whenever you're getting shots, for instance, right here, I was standing on snipe spawn. There was this guy right here in blue, and then there was another guy over here on top cat shooting me. So my options were either challenge this guy straight up and just go for the trade, or go for like a nice like a world star kill, I guess. Just try to outplay this guy, just brute force challenge him, or keep hiding and just give up a death and the sniper. So always, whenever you're in a situation like this, even if it seems unwinnable, always just pick a target and just do your best. Try to come down with at least one kill, and if you can't come down with a kill, at least make the guy as weak as possible. So right here, you see I challenge him, but I end up getting him like 2-shot, which would make for a pretty easy cleanup kill. Unfortunately, my teammate was AFK off the start of the match, but always try to come down with as much damage, do as much damage as possible. Because if you can get, even if you're not going to get a kill, if you can get 2 or 3 shots on a guy and make it to where your teammate only has to melee him once, that's always that's always a preferable circumstance. So right there, you can see when I thrust slit across right there, I put a couple shots down just because again, I saw my teammates were pushing, so I grabbed the LR over here off my spawn, and I know my teammates are engaging in battles with these guys, so I just try to put down as much damage as possible, try to make it easier for them to get kills. And there are 2 no shield guys over there. So right here, this is another important part, is I set up for this. So you'll see my teammates are all challenging from blue main and from like the top cat area. So like my teammates are all pushing from the outside area of the map. So I immediately go towards tower because I'm going to try to set up a pinch, right? Try to make it to where they can't get away and try to guarantee that we're going to kill these guys and break their setup. So I get a nice kill on that guy, and then I stay alive. I got some damage down on the other 2, and then I just stay alive. I don't give up an average death, and because of that, our push is intact. We're still able to keep pushing these guys, and like we ended up getting, we killed 3 of them, and then this last guy is a pretty easy kill inside blue. So right now we're just trying to stay alive. So a lot of people, I think in oddball, try to go right for the ball, just try to pick up the ball and get as much time as possible. And while that can work, if just milking as much ball time as possible, kills are always going to be the most important thing. There's only so much you can do with just grabbing the ball and just trying to stay alive, right? At the end of the day, you're going to need to kill the other team. And when you do have the ball, you are, obviously, that's 1 less gun on the map for your team. So it's always a good idea to, depending on the circumstances, but it's generally a good idea to drop the ball, help your teammates, go for the kills, because whenever you slay the enemies out, whenever your team has the numbers advantage and they're in death screen, that's obviously when you're going to get the most ball time and the easiest ball time. So right here, they're getting away with the ball, but just chasing that guy would be a pretty bad idea. So we try to stay alive, try to work a couple kills, try to set up a push, because that's how you're going to get the most ball time. That's how you're going to break setups. That's how you're going to earn setups of your own, is by keeping them off balance and continuing to apply pressure instead of just holding forward and just going for just running straight at them. So right here they have overshield, so my goal right here was to just put as much damage down as possible, be a super annoying kill, stay alive as long as possible. And so right here, I'm just trying to stay alive, end up getting a pretty nice kill on that guy with a nice re-challenge. The sniper's coming up in 20 seconds, we have 3 dead. So right here, I try to fly for this ball to get it before it resets. And so right here, we have a pretty good setup at blue. I see they're pushing from the outside, so I'm getting ready to play it. My teammate dies out here, and I know that I don't have support super close by. Like we had a teammate turbine there, so you just play the ball. Just if you get it off the map, obviously you're not getting time, but also they're not getting time either. So it is 8-41 in favor of them, but we stopped them from getting an additional 10 or 15 seconds right here. So I try to make a play for the sniper right here. Obviously the sniper is the power weapon on the map, and because of that we end up getting 3 dead. We set up a pretty nice counterattack right there in blue. So right now I'm looking for spawners. And I look outside, and so after this I can tell that they're not going to be spawning right outside, so I immediately shift my attention. I'm looking towards tower, I'm looking towards mid cat, trying to see wherever they're coming from. This guy unfortunately pulls a nice flank, but I'm able to come down with the no scope. And so right now we're just trying to hold our setup, and whenever you're trying to hold your setup, this is something that we talked about in Strongholds, which I believe we talked about in the first episode. But whenever you have a setup, so for instance we have a guy who is standing above blue sneaky, we have me who is sniping around blue main and blue door, our ball guy is around blue plat, and then we have another guy, I think he was top cat or blue alley or something. So we have a setup, right? And so obviously the more you hold that setup, and the better that you hold that setup, the more time that you're going to get. So the worst thing that you can do whenever you're in a setup is give up an easy death. So what you're going to see me do in a lot of these situations is just try to put damage down, just try to stay alive, not really try to You don't want to peek out too far and give up an easy kill, especially since I'm the one with the sniper. If I die, not only am I giving up a death, but I'm also giving up a power weapon. So you just try to be annoying, stay alive, put down as much damage as possible. Obviously, best case scenario is come down with kills, but again, worst thing you can do is give up an easy or an average death whenever you have a setup. So right now we're just trying to hold this setup, and at this point, whenever we're getting a ton of pressure put on us, my goal is to do as much damage as possible, like we talked about before, and waste the sniper ammo. So that's something that you guys have seen professional players do a lot, is whenever their setup starts to be broken, whenever their teammates start to die, is you'll see them waste sniper ammo, just shoot it into the ground. So I ended up wasting most of it right there. I think I only gave up one bullet, which is pretty good. So right here, I spawn tower. If you look at that timer right here, the overshield's coming up. So what do I do right here? So our entire team dies as the overshield is coming up. We know that it comes up around 750. So I scroll through my death cams, see that nobody else is in position for the overshield. So I immediately go for that plasma pistol. You know, it's what we talked about at the beginning of this video. Plasma pistol being the hard counter to the overshield. So right now, I'm pre-charging it. I'm looking for the overshield guy, waiting for him to challenge. And unfortunately, I get sort of a weird lock-on thing with my plasma pistol there, but just kind of scanning around for the overshield because it's best to try to burn that. Unfortunately, the overshield guy actually makes a really good play, and he flanks us to avoid the green gun, and ends up coming down with a couple kills. So yeah, that should be your -- goal. Challenging the overshield guy head-on is, I think surface level it kind of looks like a bad play, but obviously the overshield guy, whenever he does have overshield, is going to be the most important person on the map that you need to kill, like the person that you need to focus. I unfortunately kind of took the triple right there. That would have been a really nice triple, but whatever you can do, if you can cross map and put damage down, if you can get in his face and put a couple melees on him, if you can grab, obviously best case scenario, you're grabbing the plasma pistol and doing your best to burn it. Just whatever you can do to take the overshield guy out of commission. And same thing with the camo guy. Whenever somebody has camo, trying not to give up a really easy kill and trying to locate him and take him out. So right here, this is kind of an interesting moment right here. So there are players dead for both teams. The ball's down in a really weird spot, blue cage, and everybody's kind of scattered. Our team is more on the tower to top cat side, with their team being more on the blue alley, blue plat, blue main side. Right here, you'll see me change targets a lot. I'm just trying to put as much damage on as many people as possible, make them easy kills for my teammates. You can see I just put shots on 3 different people there without dying. And then I'm able to come down with 1 kill. I'm nading the ball just to try to make a couple people weak. For instance, if they're just going for the ball. But then immediately I try to get the ball out of there. So at this point, just trying to bait and switch with my teammates, trying to put damage down, stay alive, get kills. Now we've got the sniper coming up again. So it's all about just understanding where your teammates are and trying to help them as much as possible, because especially while solo queuing, that is incredibly important. Understanding where your teammates are, understanding what they're doing and what they're playing for on the map, and then trying to help them as much as you can. So right now I have the sniper, just trying to do the whole Overwatch thing again, trying to look for spawners, look for where people are going to be pushing from, and just trying to put damage down, whatnot. So another two dead there, and then teammate kills the third, which was good because I would have gotten like backspacked or something. That guy hadn't killed him, so they ended up with the overshield again. So I hit him with a body shot, just trying to put as much damage on as possible, trying to be annoying. And so right here, I'm going to try to same deal as before, try to waste ammo, try to keep the sniper out of the enemy team's hands. And we end up getting 2 dead, and then I believe we hold off this push. End up giving him a death there, but we're up by 25, and we just got 3 dead. So we killed 3 of them, and teammates are actually rotating the ball. So that's another thing that I want to talk to you guys about, is rotating the ball and understanding when to rotate the ball. So, for instance, right here, we're constantly being pressured in blue, and so our teammates get a couple kills, then our ball guy just dips, just starts going to red. So you have to understand, one thing you have to understand about rotations is, so we're being pressured from this side of the map, obviously behind this wall. We're being pressured from tower side the entire time right here, and they're constantly pushing blue. So a good play to make would be to rotate that ball to red, rotate it outside. Obviously, while you're rotating it, you get some more time. You stay away from the enemies from a little bit longer. And at red, there's a pretty good place outside where pretty much everybody holds the ball to play the ball. So it's a good way to get some time, as well as stay away from the enemies and try to throw them off balance, because you don't want to have this like super like repetitive game where they're constantly spawning in one place and just throwing themselves at your setup in blue, because especially when you go down in numbers like we just did, you are eventually going to lose the setup. So right here, I still spawned blue plat, so I immediately thrust out top cat because I know this is another thing we talk about. Based on your spawns and where your teammates are, you can sort of understand where the enemies are going to be. Right here, I spawned blue alley, and I know that we are rotating to red, so I know that my entire team is outside. And since I spawned blue alley, I know that there's going to be pressure on my teammates because I didn't spawn with them. So I know that they're going to be under pressure and in gunfights. So I immediately fly out top cat to try to put shots on people. So my teammate picks up a nice kill, and then I'm just flying at my teammates, throwing nades right there. Like those nades right there are good nades, right? So we kill this one guy who's red, and then we know I see this guy right here jump up red fan, and I know that there's I know that he's there, and I know that there's probably going to be more people there. They probably at this point have spawned tower or red, and they've either rotated through red or they spawned red, and they're going to be challenging from this area most likely because, one, I spawned blue plat, blue alley, and two, I'm not getting shot in the back from anybody tower. So immediately right now, I throw these bank nades because I know these nades are going to land at the foot of red fan where my teammates are shooting. And so throw good nades, try to put damage on people, and look, I think I got 2 assists there. So right here, this is another one of those situations where I'm getting shot at by 2 people, so I just pick a target, go for one, just try to come down with at least 1 kill, and I do end up staying alive, luckily, right here. But right here, trying to sort of play for one of the things that you can play to your advantage is whenever you know where the enemies are and where the enemies are going to be coming from, but they don't know where you are. So for instance, right here, I try to play an unpredictable position because I know that the enemies are going to be pushing. I know that the ball is right here in front of me. I know that they're going to be pushing from this side of the map because I saw one guy on my radar, and also my teammates are shooting towards this side of the map. So right now, I'm just going to try to play an unpredictable position so that when they do push, I'll be able to put some damage down, maybe come down with a kill or 2. You know, just try to throw them off balance and make the push harder for them. So right now, I look, and I'm playing this angle right here, blue sneaky. I end up getting one guy one shot, sort of back off for a second, end up coming down with a kill, and then do a bunch of damage to the next guy. So right there, we did lose the battle outside, but I was able to come down with a kill. I was able to come down with a bunch of damage, and then my teammates were able to push these guys out more easily. And look, we just killed the ball guy. So 2-on-2 right now. There's 2 dead for both teams. So essentially, we're both trying to play for numbers. I get a good nade on that guy. It's another nice bank nade. Try to predict where that guy's going to come back. Unfortunately, that nade doesn't hit. But right now, just trying to sort of look for these guys, understand where they're pushing from. We get 2 dead, and then I almost pull a pretty nice reversal on this guy right here. But he ends up getting away. So one thing that I also want to talk about that you guys might find yourself, a situation that you might find yourself in, is somebody shooting you in the back, or somebody so far up ahead of you in a battle. And one thing that I see a ton of players do is they will stop shooting, or they'll like give up on the battle, or they'll be lazily shooting back or whatever. But always do your best to come down with either as much damage, or if you can reversal somebody, try to come down with that kill. Because so never give up, never think that the battle is lost. Try to throw on your weird strafe, try to throw your unpredictable movement, just try to come down with that kill. So for instance, right here, that guy 100% was going to kill me, but I was able to thrust back and do a weird little crouch strafe, and I was able to get him no shields. So even though he killed me, I sort of took him out of commission for a second, because he's got to double back and he's got to make sure that his shields come back. And then always there is always a chance that you world star the guy, that you end up coming out. That was kind of weird wording. There's always a chance that you end up coming out on top with the kill, even if it does seem like you're gonna lose the battle. So never give up in situations like that. Always do your best to come down with, like I said, as much damage or potentially the kill. So right here, we're doing our ball setup in blue, which is what we've been doing. So essentially, trying to play weird positions, trying to play the power positions, which is something that we talked about in the last episode, and trying to not lose the setup. So right there, I go for the sniper, which was probably a pretty dumb play in hindsight. I probably should have just waited. We did have numbers, but I probably should have just waited, because the sniper's out here in the open for a reason. And obviously, with it being the sniper rifle and being a power weapon, there's a whole lot of eyes on it. So I probably shouldn't have just gone straight for it, especially when I was still weak, and I ended up giving up a pretty easy death, which is unfortunate. But Yeah, it is important to control the sniper, but obviously not at the expense of your life or your setup. If you've got to let it sit there, if you've got to not go for it, if you got to back off and get your shields back, then that's definitely preferable to giving up an easy death. So right here, see, this is another one of those situations that I wanted to talk about, understanding when to push. So right here, I'm in kind of a weird position. I've kind of put myself in a bad spot. I'm weak, so I get my shields back, and I immediately double back to the tower, where A, I have cover, and B, I can sort of survey the situation. Right here, I see there's 2 X's on my screen. 2 of my teammates are dead, so we do not have the numbers advantage. There are more of them alive than there are of us, as well as they have the ball set up in blue. So what you should do whenever your team loses numbers is you should wait for a second. Obviously, don't push in to a situation. If your teammates are dead, it's always a bad idea to continue to push, because you are just making yourself an easy target. You're going to be pretty easily team shotted and melted by the other team. Right here, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to try to play my advantage. And see, I come up here to check, and then I realize that I don't have numbers advantage. I'm kind of just waiting. I'm looking around for the enemies, and I try to push this kind of slowly to give my teammates time to catch up with me, and then try to make my push. So right here, unfortunately, I probably pushed in a little bit too fast. Our team goes 4 dead, and they get a full squad wipe. So I scroll through my death cams, see where everybody is, and so it's always a better idea to hold off and wait for your teammates and try to make the most organized push you possibly can. So right here, I'm doing the same thing I did earlier. I'm setting up for the pinch. I know my teammates are all on the outside of the map, so I'm trying to set up for the pinch. I'm trying to challenge them from a different angle. And this guy actually makes a super good play and predicts the pinch, and so he is waiting for me in tower. So the worst thing that I can do is die right here, which I think I do end up dying, but one sort of highlight of this is I don't give up an easy death immediately. I wait, I hide, I get my shields, and then I re-challenge. And even though I end up losing the battle right here, I bought enough time. I drew that guy away from his team so that he could not help his teammates. My teammates end up getting a couple kills. He ends up dying. We go to clean up the last guy. And right here, I know that the overshield's coming up. So just trying to throw nades at Turbine, trying to maybe get anybody weak for my teammate that's pushing over there. And I immediately go for the green gun. We're getting pretty close to winning this game, and we don't want the overshield guy to throw that out of whack. So 2 dead. I dropped down on this guy thinking that it might be the overshield guy. We end up getting 3 dead, and then overshield guy is the last guy. He gets comboed, cleaned up by our team. We countered the overshield correctly. We got the ball, we got the time, and then we ended up pulling out the win. So I know that was a pretty in-depth video. I know we talked a lot. I paused it a lot. Let me know if you like these games where I pause it a lot and break it down a lot, or maybe if you just want me to live narrate it instead of pausing it and breaking it down. I know that this video ended up being a little bit longer. Let me know what you think. But yeah, that's going to do it for this edition of Getting Better at Halo 5. So just to recap, we talked, the things that I do want you guys to remember is not giving up in certain fights, understanding when to and when not to push with your teammates by using your death cam, and paying attention to when your teammates are alive or dead. Obviously using the scoreboard to check if your teammates are alive or dead, as well as nades. Keep in mind that your nades are a super important part of your gameplay, and not wasting them the same way as not wasting your thrust or not wasting your ammo is a really is something to keep in the back of your head. So like I said, that's going to do it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, appreciate, subscribe if you're new. Much respect as always. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.